welcome back to today's show. Today we have an exciting episode. Today we have Mandy, otherwise known as Cushy Mama on Instagram. She has a YouTube channel as well. She's an avid collector of everything from the OG Funko Pops up to stuff that's more modern like Marvel's Legends. She collects horror stuff, so you're not going to want to miss this episode. But before we jump into it, we're going to hear a word from today's sponsor.
Are you looking for clean energy without jitters and bad side effects? No sugar, artificial sweeteners, or preservatives? With a good source of energy from green tea and B12? Then look no further. Make sure you visit PureBoost.com and check them out today. We use this every day. It's our drink of choice to give us that good pick-me-up in the morning.
All right, welcome back to it. A very exciting episode of today's show. We have a very, very special guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Just Cushy Mama. Nobody big, just a random good old person who likes to collect toys and share it with the world. Nothing big on my part. That's literally me. In a nutshell.
How are you today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. I hope you're doing as well.
Trying to, enjoying the cold.
Yeah, trust me, I know. We got lots of that up here, so.
So tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got into the collecting world.
So I mean, just like anyone else, we all had toys when we were younger, right? A lot of it stuck with us, the nostalgia or the feeling in general with the things that we loved. Throughout my time, either I've lost toys, my parents have thrown them out, we've whatever. So I started collecting slowly and I fell in love with SpongeBob. Obviously, SpongeBob has been around for like 20 years now. So it's, been a long time coming. So I had a main focus of just collecting SpongeBob shit and part of my French. And then I just stopped collecting SpongeBob stuff and it started being things like Funko Pops and Hot Wheels and stuff I had when I was younger, but I didn't have anymore. And then I found out I was having a child and then it just now I can buy all these toys and they're not for me. They're not really for me. So essentially the goal now, he is going to be 6. So I've been collecting very solidly for a good 6 years. I mean, I'm collecting all my life. And everything when he turned 18 is his that we still have. So essentially I'm collecting as an inheritance, kind of, I guess. We'll see, because we all know that toys are hit and miss in the future. I still have toys that are like 60 years old in the collection here. And I know they're worth money. And who knows that some of these Marvel Legends that I have 60 years from now might be something or whatever, right? So essentially the collecting now is an investment somewhat and hopes to turn into a business prospect in the long run. So that's basically it.
So tell me a little bit about the collection you have, because I was looking through your Instagram and it's all over the place. I mean, there's something for everybody to look at.
There really is, yeah. So I am a general collector, so I don't go out specifically looking for something. I take what catches my eye. If something catches my eye and I'm like, okay, I can live with that in my house, I'm going to bring it home. It doesn't matter. So anywhere, like I said, I have Hot Wheels. Like I have a huge Hot Wheel collection. My walls are covered in nothing but carded Hot Wheels, bins full of it. Marvel Legends is really big here. Marvel anything, DC. So multiverse, we have here a lot of Batman stuff. Funko Pops is a really big one here because the whole collection started with Funko Pops. I had 3,000 the last time I stopped tracking them, and that was probably like 3-4 years ago when I was really serious about it. I've sold some, I've gotten more since then, so the numbers might be up and down at that point in time, but still to just know that at one point in time it was that bad or that many of just one thing. But yeah, that got really boring, so I switched everything else. I have everything from masks, you'll find like Trick or Treat Studio masks, I collect those. Comic books are all over the place here too. I like a lot of the older horror books and like more of the suspense, the things that are more shocking back then that, you know, they're shocking now, but really they weren't back then. Yeah, no, it's crazy. I just like to collect things that are cool. If it's cool, I'll bring it home. Like I have things I'll never use, like parasols, because they have the creature and the Gilman and like the Universal monsters. I'm like, I'm never gonna use this umbrella. It's made of paper. But I'm like, bring it home anyways because it's cool, right? So I guess we'll call it classy hoarding, maybe plastic hoarding. I guess that's really what it is. Right? So that's it. No, it is all over the place. There is something for everybody because I like vintage toys, I like new toys, I like comic books, I collect Pokemon cards. Like there's, you know, it's crazy, and it all started from SpongeBob, believe it or not.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm the same way. My collecting started with Funko Pops, and I don't quite have that many because I don't have anywhere to put them. But I think I have upwards of maybe 200, and I know for myself the most expensive one that I've got is a I can't remember what variant it is, but it's a Joker, and then also have the metallic Frieza as well.
Okay. Yeah, no, we sold a lot of our higher end. So we had the original like Motu set and all that, so Master of the Universe. So those were getting pricey too. And the Ninja Turtles, there was the whole OG set was here too. But because it was like you said, there's too much. It's too much, right? Like 200's a lot. Imagine, you know, times that by 10, by 20, right? And you're getting the variants. And that's where Funko got me, is because I would go buy one SpongeBob and then they'll make the glittery SpongeBob. I'm like, well, goddamn, like I gotta have both of them to complete it, right? Like it's, you know, so that's kind of where I step back, is it was too repetitive. I still like them. If you want to collect Funko Pops, all the power to you. For me, I'm stepping away from that game because it's too much, and there's more money I can invest my time into and things that I like, right? So I like action figures that can move and not stationary products, right? So it's where it comes down to in that regard.
Yeah, and like yourself, I dove into some comic book collecting. I don't have quite a large collection, but I think I have somewhere 30 or 40, and they're all older, probably from the 60s.
Yep, the Silver Age. That's mine, is like collecting that. I have stuff from like Karl Loft's estate. Like he did some comic books too, so like there's some like bangers in there from like the 40s and stuff. But you wouldn't even think about keeping them, right? So no, you don't even need to have a massive collection because it's quality over quantity, right? So right, that's what I see it as. And like there's no 10 whatever, however they grade them. There's no graded comic books here. I'm not fancy enough for that stuff. I'm like, I like to read my books, right? So yeah, no, it's quality over quantity. So don't worry about the size of the comic book collection.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know, I for myself personally, I'm like you. I collect them if they're cool. I really don't care what they're worth. I mean, if they're worth money, that's great. But for me, it's the nostalgia aspect of it.
No, and that's really it. And for me, like I'll go to a flea market and go through that $2 comic book bin because like those old ones or whatever. And the nice thing is my son likes to do that stuff too. So I mean, why not start with these cheaper ones, and then maybe one day he'll be, you know, getting those 181 Wolverine versus, you know, Hulk editions 10, right? Like it's great. Then we'll talk. But yeah, no, it's just good. It reminds me of what we were doing when we were younger. So that's for me, is collecting in comic books and games in general, right? So it's that feeling that we had when we were young. Or in some cases you didn't have. Because there's some people who didn't have the childhood that we're living again, that I'm reliving. People are like, whoa. And I'm like, whoa, my childhood was nothing like this. Like I didn't have any of this stuff. Right? So, right. No, it's all about the nostalgia. So
yeah, exactly. And now I'm in the phase of my collecting where I'm collecting or trying to, because the video game world is outrageously expensive. But
Yeah.
getting stuff that I had when I was a kid, because I remember being 4 or 5 and playing Donkey Kong on the Atari. So I've got one
Yeah.
of those, and
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not that deep into it. Like, I love my video games. We have a couple systems here, I obviously have played a lot when we were kids, when the systems were way different and way, like, right? But now it's even the pricing of video games. I have like a little Switch Lite, and I'm like, you want $80 for this Pokemon game? Right? When I'm like, and I can go download Pokemon Go, and it's the exact same thing, except for the storyline to the one I'm paying $80 for, right? So, no, it's crazy. I do love gaming. It's not something I'm deep into. So kudos to anybody who is deep into the gaming world, because they put the time, the effort, and the money into a lot of their stuff, right? So crazy.
exactly. And with regards to action figures, I have a few. I've got I don't know what era they're from, but I've got Marvel's She-Hulk, and it's probably a good 8 to 10 inch doll. I'm sorry, I'm looking at them off screen.
No worries.
I've got the Lizard. It's a 10 inch.
Okay.
So they're still mint in the boxes, but I want to say they're probably, I'm spitballing here, but maybe from the 70s.
Okay, yeah. Money, right? And I see it. Like, I go to toy shows all the time, and I spend money on some of those older things. So I also know too, right? Like, in that regard, like, that's the one thing, you're going to hold on to those for the rest of your life, and whoever gets them next, it's going to be worth even more, right? So that's where my whole intention of this stuff too. Like, I have OG Funko Pops from when Funko first started. I'm like, I still have them because I'm like, I know they're going to be worth something eventually, right? Like, it's the OG Vault It lines. Like, there's things you don't see. And I'm like, I could sell it or just hold on to it and let it build up its own, right? Own value over time. So,
yeah, and collecting in general is just like anything else. I mean, the prices go up and down and fluctuate, but the longer you hold on to something, the more valuable it will be in the future, for sure. Hopefully,
of course,
or at least we'd like to think so.
Yeah, that's what the hope is. For at least for me, the ultimate goal is, even if anything in here was valueless, I could still part out every single piece for $2 and still make the money back. You know what I mean? Like, some kind of money back. The ultimate goal is, when the child turns 18, it's his decision if he wants to take the money and use it for school, take the money and keep collecting, invest it back into it, or right. So, like, it's literally just all about money in that regard. But I mean, I love some of them toys. It's not all about money, everybody. Just so everybody knows, right? But I hope, right? Like, if not, then it doesn't. It's still having that, and hopefully they pass it down. And who knows? These toys could be around for the next 100 years. I won't be around to see it, and where am I going to be complaining about it, right?
Exactly. Now I see some of your collection behind you there.
Oh, some of it. Yeah, that's just the Michael Myers shelf at the moment. Yes, the mixture of Funkos and NECA over there.
See, I didn't realize they had that many Michael Myers stuff.
Oh yeah, so one side of a lot of the room doesn't get seen just because it's a very awkwardly shaped room to do like videos and stuff in. Like, because I have like a corridor that makes, you gotta go around a corner, right? So one side of the room is all Hot Wheels and like die cast on one wall. And then one wall is all just like my action figures and like Masters of the Universe, Marvel, DC, all this here. Funko Pops surround the whole top of the room. And like everything's on bookshelf. And then on one side, this is all like horror stuff. So I have like, here you see the Michael Myers stuff. Right here over in this corner, you can't really see, it's like Freddy Krueger. I have Jason in the next one over there. So there's like different movies set up. So yeah, no, the room is pretty crazy. I even have like 6-foot tall Jason Voorhees over there and 6-foot tall Freddy Krueger over. They're paper cutouts. They're cardboard, but like they're there, right? So no, it's pretty tough. So I don't get to show a lot of the room unless like I'm actually doing a 360 in it, but I don't do that very often. So, like, we see enough of the toys every day.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's a very good mixture, and this is just what's on display. I do have tons of stuff that's not on display, that's still in packaging and storage in closets, other rooms, right? So the whole house is basically becoming a toy store. There's toys everywhere and collectibles and dioramas and right. So it's becoming, but it is organized chaos in that regard. So
Well, I think it's very cool that you're collecting a wide range of things and trying to share it with your son, and especially as he gets older, he'll be able to see some of the stuff that you've had for a very long time, some of the stuff you had when you were a kid too, because things change.
for sure.
In that retrospect, it's kind of weird where you look at stuff that when we were kids, and then you look at stuff that they have now, and you're just like, what? They just don't make things like they used to. And sometimes stuff is made better than it was back then.
Yep. Oh, and the good thing with even the older stuff is there are some things that I do allow him to play, and he understands that these are old toys. I have to be a little more careful with them, right? So that's the nice thing about collecting a little bit of column A and column B is I can teach him, hey, yeah, you can be rougher with these solid Spawn figures, but with this one over here, we don't be rough. 1998 McFarlane versus 2022 McFarlane. Two different worlds, buddy, right? So and that's the thing. I can teach that, and that's where I love. That's more than just collecting money. Having cool things to show. It actually helps teach too, right? Like responsibility. Like if you don't take care of these things, you're not going to have these things to take care of and to show to your friends, right? So, yeah, the collection is it has a lot of different meanings and things behind it for me, right? But it's fun, and that's all that matters.
That's it. As long as you enjoy what you're doing, that's really all that matters. And I feel like that people like yourself that are massive collectors, 50 years from now, when some of that stuff doesn't even exist anymore, people will be able to see your collection and go, wow, somebody was really saving this portion of history. Because that's really what it's about is preserving it for your kids and their kids and so on down the line, so they can see how things were in a period of time that is gone.
Oh, for sure. Right. So, and that's the thing. I'm just I do the same thing. I collect Toy Biz that's in their package because Toy Biz no longer exists and is no longer around, and it's slowly starting to trickle out of the right. So you see a lot of things that are open. So when I'm like, look, these are sealed. It's not yellow. Look at this, right? And to me, that's already 30 years old. And in 30, it's crazy just to think about it. So no, you're absolutely right in that regard. Right? Just to see different things in different times.
Yes. So in your collection, what was the first thing you collected, and what would you say your most prized collectible is, even if it's multiple things?
So the first thing that triggered the mass collecting was the OG SpongeBob Funko Pop. It was the very first Funko Pop I ever bought. And then it went from $15 and it shot up to $120. It was right? I was like, right, because there's the OG line, and I was like, oh, okay, we're on to something here, right? And slowly more started popping up, right? So the SpongeBob Funko Pop is hands down the killer, started it all. I even have Funko Pops tattooed on me, that's how bad the problem became. So, right? So that is where it started. My most prized is hard for me to say because I have different things that mean more to me. For example, Funko Pop, probably the Devil Ned Flanders from the Treehouse of Horror. I have him tattooed on me. So when Funko made that as a Funko Pop after I tattooed on me, I was in heaven. I was like, well, that was just meant to be, right? So well, hello, Funko, right? So, and it just killed me because I literally got done Funko within the year. I'm like, shut up, right? So that has meaning. But when it comes to value and stuff, I had a really hard time finding any kind of Tortured Souls, so McFarlane again. I found 2 this year, which were super hard to find. They were sealed, intact, very good condition. The retail value was great that I paid for it. I know what I can get out of them if I chose to sell them, and I've had offers on them. However, I'm like, these are something I'm probably going to hold on to, because if you're offering me that much money now, you're probably going to offer me more later. Right? All right. So, otherwise, everything has different meaning. Like, I love Spider-Man, so I love Spider-Man, my retro cards for this reason and this. But when it comes down to things that I probably won't sell because I know it could probably bank something a little bit, it's definitely those Tortured Souls. It was only 2, and I need to find the rest of the set, so we'll see what happens.
Exactly. So I know I found you on Instagram. Where can our listeners and viewers find some of the content you have out there other than Instagram? And what is your handle, so to speak?
So I just have the Instagram, really. So Instagram, Cushy Mama. And then, of course, Doodle's Toy Report, which I don't know if you can see behind me. So Doodle's Toy Report is my YouTube channel dedicated to my son. And it's also the same as Instagram. So the YouTube I started during COVID because my son is autistic. So he's level 2 nonverbal. And he wasn't speaking. He was just watching people like myself. People like Chartemis Prime, like different types of toy reviewers doing their thing. And I was like, well, why don't we just do that with a familiar face and, whatnot. 2 years, 3 years later now, he's speaking now and he watches these things and it helps him, right? So I was like, even if you only put like 2 videos, it was something we did. But now we have like almost 700 subs and we weren't even really trying to get subs. It was literally something dedicated to my kid. Like, I didn't even care if people watched it or comments or anything. But yeah, so just YouTube and Instagram, Doodle's Toy Report and Cushy Mama. That's basically it. I don't really use anything more. I mean, I was on TikTok. TikTok's for the young kids. My TikTok handle even says I'm too old for TikTok, right? So, right? Like, I'm like, yeah. So that's it. Instagram is my bread and butter. Everyone used to use Facebook, and I think everyone transitioned off of Facebook to Instagram, and now Instagram's starting to change. So people are transitioning here, right? So it's a never-ending evolution of social media sites to be on. So Instagram is where we're at, and YouTube at this point in time. We're not stepping out any further. It's too much work as it is.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm on TikTok. I couldn't tell you how to use it, and I may have posted maybe 10 little videos, but we're mainly on YouTube and Instagram. I mean, Facebook is a thing that I haven't used in a while. It's gone.
No, I started a Facebook page just recently for shits and giggles because I'm like, why not? Like, Instagram's been really weird with everybody and shutting people down for no reason. So I'm like, ooh, just in case. But even then, I'm like, is it really worth it? If Instagram's just going to shut me down, I'm like, ooh, one less thing I have to worry about in the day, right? Oh no, right? Like, it'll suck, but I'm like, oh, I can rebuild or just not share the toys again. It's cool too. Like, everyone already knew, right? But no, it's Instagram and YouTube. There's too much everywhere else.